Georgia O'Keeffe lived from 1887 until 1986. She passed on at 98 years old. I lived in Santa Fe for 8+ years and heard many stories about Georgia over the years. Some who knew her well, and some who just had a passing glimpse of her lifestyle. The art historians have scrubbed her very clean in terms of what a wild girl she really was. However, she remains one of my favorite painters from the area. Georgia had a definite sense of her own mission and was mostly a very secluded artist, living in Abiquiu and Ghost Ranch for the latter half of her life. My focus in this video is on her floral paintings, and another following this video will be her landscapes. I knew a man named John Firestone. John's mother knew Georgia, and one summer, as John was being an impossible teenager, Georgia had John come out and live with her for the summer. This must have been in the 60s when John was still a teen. He was assigned the tasks of keeping her house orderly and tried his best to keep out of her way. His conclusions were mostly about how driven she was with her painting and how utterly reclusive her lifestyle was at that point in her life. He described her as a taskmaster who always demanded his attention to the smallest details with keeping the place clean and orderly. He said he did not object, as she was kind-hearted and did take time to get to know John. He described her as being supremely in control of her life and expressed a minimum of emotions about anything beyond her painting. John passed away some 10+ years ago and was quite a character in his own right, being very much of a recluse. He painted some very psychedelic paintings, which he described from his experimentation with the drug DMT. He explained that for several years he only ate Hershey bars and drank Diet Coke. Developing severe diabetes, he passed on, I gather. Another man who was privy to Georgia was the night watchman for a real estate company in downtown Santa Fe. They owned various downtown properties, and he was the son or grandson of the original developer and owner. I leased a building from this company at 223 San Francisco, which was right across the street from the former bus station. Next door to it was a bar. The night watchman said he saw Georgia on many occasions sitting on the curb outside the bar, drinking away next to a motorcycle. He described her as being quite the wild woman who was prone to having some drink and buzzing back up to Ghost Ranch with some other wild person on the back of her Indian motorcycle. He mentioned this at one point to a customer of mine downtown, and one of the head people from the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum came over to tell me to never repeat this insidious story again. Personally, I like the story, if it is indeed true, and I have no reason to doubt its veracity, as the night watchman was a sincere fellow, and I respected his story. I also think the story adds some genuine grist to the legend of Georgia O'Keeffe. It sounds like to me she had some fun times in old Santa Fe, as did I. I came to know another man in Santa Fe named G.R. Hiller, I recall, who attended a large ranch in northern New Mexico. He told me he would come to Santa Fe to let the wolf out, which meant a night of fun and drinking. He conferred this story about Georgia as being a wild girl and someone familiar with the drink. Who knows if any of this is really true, but I think it adds some color to the great painter, Georgia O'Keeffe. Then in 2014, Susie and I opened another gallery up on the 700 block of Canyon Road. Next door to the gallery was a nice home that belonged to Juan Hamilton. Juan was with Georgia the last number of years of her life and was a very helpful soul to help her with her macular degeneration issues. Apparently, he introduced her to working with clay and helped her with her paintings. I respect his help. However, as a neighbor, the man was quite rude to be around. He He had some crazed issue about the parking in front of our gallery and was forever complaining about any car that was parked just a bit too close to his driveway. We were happy to move the gallery after 2 years down to the beginning of Canyon Road at 225 and to be done with Mr. Hamilton. I wish him only glad tidings and hope he gets his parking issues resolved with others. Now about Georgia's paintings. She was out there on her own, exploring almost abstract patterns and designs from close-up views of her floral subjects. Naturally, some critics called these very sexual and vaginal. However, she protested vehemently in saying they were not that at all. I could care less if they were or were not based on female anatomy, but more importantly, I love the color, the designs, and certainly the intensity she conveyed in these magnificent paintings. If viewers fall victim to this pareidoia and see genitalia, then she proclaimed that was their problem and not hers. Who really knows? But the bottom line is I, as a painter, respect these works very much. She was out there on the edge and explored some incredibly beautiful images. She is unique and remains steadfast in her pursuit of this genre. Bravo, Georgia. Well, enough about these vicious rumors and stories about Georgia. Just enjoy these pictures, and I hope they cause some inspiration to other painters to explore and have permission to explore what each artist feels deep inside. I appreciate you viewing these naked artist exposure videos. Please hit the like and subscribe button to the channel, as it gives me great cause to continue making more of these about artists and painters I've come to love. I am Preston McCall, and I thank you.